we're going to kind of bring you through some of the graphics and kind of the explanation of what we're looking at over the next really kind of 48 hours, because by this time on Saturday, we'll already be in the cooler, drier air, and we should already start to see some clearing skies. So again, this is just kind of an over the 48-hour period that we're expecting some of that nasty weather to move on in. So let's go over to our weather graphics and show you. This is the big, and boy, kind of apparent on our screen here. This is the big upper level low and associated upper level trough that we see kind of developing. And we talk about upper troughs and closed lows and cutoff lows. Basically what I'm talking about is this. As you watch the motion on water vapor, this is the upper trough. This drags cold air out of Canada and forces it down south. And what you also see kind of developing as well is this little cutoff feature right here. This looks to be what is trying to develop as a closed low. So normally you have these open troughs, but if you get that rotation to completely engulf the center or the base of this trough, you get a cutoff low. Again, just some meteorology terminology for you, but really what's important with this feature is it is drawing moisture from the Gulf of Mexico northward, and you already see that occurring when you look at these bright blue colors and oranges. That's the higher moisture content moving northward. This upper trough is not only drawing that moisture northward, but it is dragging down some colder air. And there is an associated cold front with this feature. And look at this, pretty decent snowfall around the Lubbock, Amarillo area in the panhandle of Texas, as well as the panhandle of Oklahoma. So this system is associated with some very cold air that will be moving in our direction. Now the main upper low, that spin, is going to be pulling away from us, so the core of the cold is not coming down to the Gulf Coast. But as it continues along that path kind of east and then eventually northeast, it will continue to draw this moisture out of the Gulf. And you see here that little spin. That is what the Hurricane Center is watching, and they are giving it, and actually looks like the coloring has changed, so I might have to adjust my graphics here because it looks like that just came in from the National Hurricane Center, and they are giving it a they have now changed their number, so they're now giving it a 70% chance of developing in the next really the next 2 days, or even 3 beyond, but really 3 and beyond. This system is already going to be inland. So in the next 2 days, they are giving it a high percent chance of developing, and that really isn't a huge surprise, only because you look at the circulation. Now this is infrared. I apologize that it says visible. This is actually infrared. I was kind of playing around with our graphics here a bit ago. That really shows you that spin very well on satellite. So there is definitely circulation. I was pointing that out in our 5 and 6 o'clock newscast. Circulation and convection, thunderstorms developing around that center. So it really isn't a surprise that the Hurricane Center is kind of upping that potential for perhaps declaring this a subtropical depression or a tropical depression before it gets on land. Again, just based on the organization with this system and the fact that the convection is kind of developing around that center. And I've said it before, this looks far better than Nestor did last week. And if this were to become a named storm, it would be Olga. Not looking likely that we would see a tropical storm. Crazier things have happened, but it looks like more than anything it could be a depression. Either way, that system is going to be riding along a cold front, which is going to quickly move into the Gulf of Mexico during the day tomorrow, and this system is just going to ride along that frontal boundary, keeping our rain chances on the higher side during the day tomorrow as well as on Saturday. Then, as you see, by early Saturday, more midday hours, all of the rainfall is gone, and that system, whether or not it's a depression, storm, or just a surface low, is going to be pulling away from us as well. So this is not going to be something that we're going to be dealing with for a very long period of time, which is why I said, as far as rainfall accumulations go, this is going up until Saturday at 10:30. We're only looking at I think at the high end, 4 inches of rainfall. Most of the models are not going with as high as 4 inches of rain, with an exception of one model that seems to be going way too high on these rainfall totals. I really think it's going to be more likely 2 to 3 inches, maybe a little bit more than that in some isolated places. But really, over 36 hours, 2 to 3, even 4 inches of rainfall is an amount that we can handle very easily. Even as poor as our system is for drainage and flood control, we can handle that kind of rainfall. But because we are expecting the 2 to 4 inches, the Weather Service, and rightly so, has placed the area under a flash flood watch, which will be in effect from all day Friday until early on Saturday afternoon. So this is going to be primarily a Friday event, and it's not going to be just an all-day rain. We will see plenty of breaks in the rain. And really, I tell you what, if we can get some breaks in the rainfall, that allows normal drainage to kind of catch up before you get another round of some heavy rainfall. So it'll be something that we're watching and monitoring very closely throughout the day tomorrow, as well as on into early Saturday. Now, as far as the rest of Saturday goes, again, drying out through the afternoon and evening hours. So plans on Saturday afternoon headed up to LSU, I think it's going to be okay. Sunday going to the game or doing anything in town, I think it's going to be very nice. We'll start off the morning in the 50s with an afternoon high of 72. And then temperatures kind of climbing a bit for Monday and Tuesday before what looks to be another stronger cold front. This one looks to be a dry cold front. In other words, no real rain associated with it, just in time for Halloween, where temperatures may stay in the 60s all day. So by trick-or-treat time, we'll be quickly falling into the 50s by that evening. So it does look like we've got, with the two cold fronts on the way, we're going to be seeing kind of a more sub-normal temperature trend coming up for the next 7+ days. And it does look like Halloween is going to be downright chilly, which you want it to be cold for Halloween as you're trick-or-treating. Again, we're going to be watching our rain chances very closely. We are watching that system in the tropics, but again, really more of a, not to de-emphasize it too much, but again, we're in late October. This is not mid-August. We're not expecting any kind of a strong, powerful system to be developing. More than anything, it's going to be a rainmaker, and the winds will certainly be picking up during the day on Friday and Saturday associated with this system, as well as a strong cold front moving into the area. Just kind of an anomaly to be tracking the tropics as well as watching a strong cold front move into the metropolitan area, but that is what we're dealing with through the day tomorrow. So heavy rains are on the way. Just be prepared for kind of a nasty day overall on Friday and kind of a wet start to Saturday, but then the rest of the weekend looks nice, and then as well as going into next week. So Halloween at the moment is looking to be chilly and dry. For now, I'm meteorologist Chris Franklin.